Hi guys, welcome back again to my channel. It's your girl Ogona, and if you're new to this channel, please do well to subscribe to my channel. So my returning subscribers, thank you so much for always checking back on this channel. And this video is a continuation of my last video. Yes, the continuation of my delivery story. If you've not watched my delivery story, I'll be linking it somewhere in the description box so you can go check it out and watch for yourself. So in my delivery story, I told you guys how after I gave birth, I already met with my husband. We already saw, he saw the baby and the rest of it, and we already made calls, and even family members were already calling me to congratulate me and the rest of it. My husband had gone to look for food for me, and I was just there at this point, just resting, receiving a few calls that I could, and even sending message. So at some point I just felt heavy. I felt like I was really bleeding and that my pad was already soaked. So I decided to change my pad. And then the cleaner was around. So I told her, she now said I would need a bucket. I told her that I have my bucket. So she helped me get the bucket. And then I stood up to go and change. And I just noticed that the bed that I was lying on, in fact, I was lying on a pool of blood. And it was a white bed sheet. It was soaked with blood. Like, God, I felt really, I don't even know what I felt at that point. I came down, my clothes were all bloody. I was like, how did this even get to this point without me even, like, I didn't really notice it that much. I was even apologizing to the cleaner because I knew she was going to wash the sheets. She now said, no, it's not a problem, like, this is normal thing now that I said, I'm so sorry, please. She now said, no problem, like, everywhere was filled. And you know, after giving birth, they usually insert a pad inside you to help collect the bleeding at that time. So I had to remove it because it was also soaked, and it was like, sorry, this is too much information, but I just have to share it if I'm going to share the story. So as I removed it, it was like blood was just pouring. It was so scary. The sight was so scary. I was like, what is happening? They had to call the doctors, and they wheeled me back to the delivery room again. You know, this is like when everything had happened. Like at this, I was already like thanking God that I actually prayed for a fast delivery, like a stress-free delivery, and I was really thanking him already for the miracle he had done for me. And then this is happening. And if you read research stories and so many things about childbirth and delivery, you know that bleeding after delivery is very dangerous. It's like one of the leading cause of maternal mortality. And so I was really scared at this point, like, what was causing this bleeding? Like, how am I bleeding so much like this? What is the cause? I was so scared. I was just saying, I was just praying. So they took me back to the delivery room, and I was with 3 doctors. So 3 doctors came in. They were also trying to figure out what was it, what is happening, why am I bleeding this much, and the rest of it. They were like, this labor that was just so, this delivery that was just so fast, and the rest of it, where is this one coming from? So they had to check blood. And you know, when you finish giving birth, they're like, thank God, all the diving in and diving out is over. But this one was now the real diving in and diving out, because they were trying to find out what was happening down there. They were just checking. They'll use this one, do like this, do the other one, and finally they were able to find what was causing the bleeding. And it was that I had a tear. So I had a small tear, and the tear was what was causing the bleeding. And each time I just think about that tear, I'm like, this tear was actually small. So why was it causing that amount of bleeding for me? Or was there something else that was causing the bleeding? So it took them a while to even find what was the cause of the bleeding, because the tear apparently was really small. So they had to repair it. They repaired it. While they were repairing it, I knew one of the doctors gave me an injection, added something to the drip that I was taking, and at that point I started feeling dizzy and sleepy. I was trying so hard to stay awake. In my head, I felt like if I should sleep, maybe I'll just die from this sleep. I was trying so hard to stay awake. My eyes were shutting down. I was trying so hard. So they gave me some pain relief, and they stitched it. I didn't even feel it, unlike my first baby where I had a cut. This one, they cut me, and while they were stitching it, although it wasn't really painful, but I could feel they were doing something. But this time around, I could not even feel they were doing anything. So they stitched it up, and they had to now clean me up very well. They had to use a lot more pads to clean my tummy. If you've given birth before, you know how this is done. They dive in too much information again. So they put in pad into your belly and then they are cleaning it up to just make sure that they dry as much blood as they can, so you don't have to bleed so long after you give birth, or don't have to have heavy bleeding. So how they had to clean me up again, clean inside up and everything, and stitched me, and that was just it. Like immediately they finished it, I was not bleeding again. It was just the normal postpartum bleeding. So I was like, God, please let this thing just be it. And God was really on my side, because that was, I didn't have any complications again after it. They told me, in fact, they didn't even, the tear was just too small to even be an issue, because they didn't even bother to tell me to do the seat bath. And even though I eventually asked them, they said yes, if you go home you can still do the seat bath. But I went home and I wasn't feeling any pain down there, I wasn't feeling any pressure. It wasn't even as if anything had happened, like I had a tear or a stitch and the rest of it. So it was really smooth, and I'm like, okay, so why did this just try to just spoil this beautiful story for me, try to just make it seem as though I cannot have it easy, because that was almost what it was. But I'm still grateful at the end. And surprisingly, the next morning I had to do a test to check my blood level to know if I have enough blood, and I had enough blood. Like I had enough blood, more than for my first baby. Like I had to, because I had my file at some point, so I decided to now look at my first delivery and my second delivery, and apparently my blood level for my first delivery was even shorter after the delivery than this time around that I bled. But they also gave me some drugs, they gave me some antibiotics, they gave me some vitamins, some drugs to just take and boost up my immune system and everything, and also to prevent any infection and the rest of it. And I was discharged the next day safe. I was discharged the next morning, did everything, had to do some tests to check if I'm okay, had to check if baby is fine and okay. And so after everything, I was discharged. Yes, I was discharged like barely 24 hours after giving birth. I was discharged. Although I know the standard practice is that you're not discharged till after 24 hours, but in the afternoon I was told that I was fit, all the tests came out fine, my baby is okay, and the drugs that they've given to me, although they gave me 2 weeks checkup, I should come back after 2 weeks so that they can check me because of what happened, to just make sure that everything is still okay, advise me not to miss my drugs, and if there's any issue I should just come back to the hospital immediately for checkup. And I also wanted to just go home. I was really exhausted by the time I woke up, and in fact the hospital space was just not the best for me. My mind was just down. I just wanted to go home and rest. I think that was one of the things that just happened. From the person that just gave birth with so much strength, after that whole episode I just withdrew in. I was just down. I just wanted to be on my bed. Like I just wanted to come home to my house, see my daughter and everything. And so I was looking forward for them to discharge me. I was looking forward for them to discharge me. So after they discharged me, I came home, and I also wanted to come back that day, because that day was my first daughter's birthday. So I gave birth a day before her birthday. In fact, just a few hours till that been birthday mates. So I wanted to come back to be with her as she was celebrating her 2 years birthday. So I was really happy that I was able to come home that day and be with my family. So this is how my delivery journey went. This is how my delivery, I just want to tell this story, and I hope you enjoyed this story. I would like to also know your experience. Share your experience with me in the comment section, and if you enjoyed this story, please like this video and don't also forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.